Okay, do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Anyone break a crime?
Yes or no? This is not hard. Yes or no?
Anyone that break a crime should be detained.
Okay, Mayor, yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that
Yes or
causes
no?
harm
Yes or
and
no?
breaks
Okay,
the
Mayor
law
Wu?
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions. Mayor Wu? Yes or no?
Anyone who's a public safety threat should be prosecuted.
All right, I have my next question. Are you willing to go to jail for violating federal law?
The city of Chicago complies with all laws.
Oh, I highly doubt that. Mayor Wu?
We are not violating federal law.
Mayor Wu, I have a last couple questions for you. Do you believe that ICE arresting a child rapist, quote, threatens everyone's safety, end quote? Yes or no?
No.
Does ICE arresting a murderous MS-13 gang member threaten everyone's safety? Yes or no?
No.
I would like to hold up this quote of you where you say, ICE's efforts actually threaten the safety of everyone, end quote, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. You're a hypocrite. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Let me proceed. Data from Texas shows that U.S.-born Americans commit more rape and murder than immigrants.
Listen, this trend of you all trying to get thrown out of committee so you can get on MSNBC is going to end. We're not going to put up with it.
This is my procedural
Mr.
right as a
Subramaniam.
member of this committee
You can
to
go.
enter documents
You can go
into
with
the
Mr.
record.
Frost and Mr. Green.
I'm reclaiming my time.
That's what
do
you
not
want.
get to
No. Ms. Presley,
how
I've been
I
very,
recite the
I have been
articles
very
for the
accommodating
record.
to you. Mr. Subramaniam,
And I
start
take
the
particular
clock.
umbrage
Start
as a
the clock.
survivor of sexual violence.
Go.
I will enter into the record. This is my right. Thank you.
No. It is Mr. Subramaniam.
Mr. Chair.
No, you know the process of unanimous consent. You are not
I
recognized.
have several articles to enter into the record.
Mr. Subramaniam, if you don't go, we're going to recognize Mr. Timmons.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about the four stooges, okay? The four Democrat mayors of sanctuary cities that go out of their way to harbor illegal immigrants. Now, I have been talking about this day, okay? A day that, quite honestly, didn't really disappoint, to be honest with you, that they would all have to testify before Congress about the sanctuary city policies that their cities adhere to that obstruct the federal government from being able to enforce federal immigration laws.
Mayor Johnson, is Denver a sanctuary city?
A lot of folks use that term.
Yes or no?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Folks use that term differently. I can tell you what Denver does. We do not.
Okay, I take that as a yes. Mayor Johnson, no, yes or no? I take that as a yes. Mayor Johnson, on March 10th, 2023, you posted on X that Chicago must lead and live by the promise to be a sanctuary city. Is Chicago a sanctuary city?
A 40-year policy of being a welcoming city.
Yes.
A 40-year policy of a welcoming
yes.
city.
Mayor Wu, in November 2024, you gave an interview noting that you served on the city council a decade ago when the Boston Trust Act was first passed. You said in that interview that in terms of Boston's policy, there is a prohibition on resources and personnel going to enforce civil immigration detainers, meaning Boston police and other departments cannot cooperate with ICE when it comes to detaining on civil warrants. Mayor, is Boston a sanctuary city?
Boston is a safe city.
I take that as a yes. And Mayor Adams, on November 12, 2024, you said, quote, this is a sanctuary city, but I must comment that you have, of the witnesses today of the major cities, you have publicly stated that you were willing to work with ICE on detaining the most criminal illegals, and I want to publicly thank you for that. But my question to you, sir, is New York City a sanctuary city?
Based on our classification, yes.
Apparently, some of these mayors didn't really do their homework coming into this meeting, particularly woke Mayor Brandon Johnson, who apparently forgot how much money Chicago was spending on illegal immigrants during this hearing.
Going back to you, how much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone.
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you.
It's 1% of the overall budget over the
All
last
right, that's
4
why
years,
you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that
how
was
much did the
sent from
city of
us
New
from
York
the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number, and if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
6.9 billion of taxpayers' dollars.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city
number.
of Boston has spent on illegal immigration.
We
Are you
don't
out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage
we
your
have
budget
the
or not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So
for
to the city of Boston,
budget.
just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of
the city
Boston
of
is
Boston.
sick of having
I'm
people
reclaiming my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Bear,
us what
Mr.
we
Bear, I have
need.
a question.
Yeah, so I gotta tell you, what I was most excited about going into his hearing was to see how Brandon Johnson would handle the heat from the Republicans, okay? And I gotta tell you, the Republicans definitely grilled Brandon Johnson hard, okay? And at moments during his hearing, he kind of looked like a deer in the headlights, to be honest with you.
I want to ask you a series of questions. If you could answer with a yes or no answer, that'd be great. First of all, do you support allowing illegal aliens to obtain driver's licenses? Just yes or no?
So the city of Chicago has been a welcoming city for over 40 years.
I'll take
policy,
that as a yes. Next question.
and that's the policy that we will hold to.
Do you support tax dollars subsidizing or paying for the health care of illegal aliens?
I support investments in all residents of the people of Chicago, and that's what I do.
That's a yes as well. Do you support free or reduced college for illegal aliens?
Again, I support the investments of all residents of the people of Chicago.
Take that as a yes. Next question. Do you support allowing non-citizens to vote in local elections?
Again, I'm not over the jurisdiction of that type of law, but again, I'm committed to investing in all residents of the people
I'll
of Chicago.
take that as a yes. I've got an article from the Chicago Sun-Times, and I'll quote here briefly. Johnson proposed, among other things, that all residents, regardless of citizenship status, be able to vote for Chicago Board of Education members. Next question. Your website states, and this is your campaign website, quote, "I will not stop fighting until abortion access is completely secure for people all over the country," end quote. Yes or no, do you support taxpayer-funded abortions for illegal aliens?
I support the reproductive rights of all people, all
Take
women.
that as a yes as well.
Mayor Johnson, under Chicago law, would you turn this criminal over to ICE on a detainer?
Our local law enforcement works hard every day to get criminals off the streets of Chicago.
Would you
And
turn that criminal over to ICE? That's the problem. That's one of the topics of this conversation. That's one of the problems we've heard from Tom Hammond and from the Homeland Security, is that in your cities, when someone's apprehended for a crime, and ICE is now, with this new federal policy, wanting to come in and deport the criminal alien, that you will not cooperate with ICE. Will you turn that criminal over to ICE?
And we do not harbor criminals. Our local police department works hard every single day to ensure that the city of Chicago is
Yes
safe.
or no? Will you turn the criminal over to ICE?
With a criminal warrant from the federal government, our local law enforcement.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Okay, woke Mayor Brandon Johnson was a deer in the headlights. And I wish I could play more highlights. I mean, there's a lot of things I could play. Unfortunately, the video can only be but so long, okay? This hearing was, I believe, like 6 hours or something like that. It was a long time, okay? So with that being said, I want to go ahead and get into what I believe to be the highlight of this hearing is when Paulina Luna decided to refer the woke mayors for criminal prosecution by the DOJ, which is exactly what needs to happen, because ultimately at the end of the day, we all know that they are obstructing, okay? They are obstructing the federal government from being able to enforce immigration law, Okay. And because of that, there needs to be accountability, right? All of this doesn't really matter unless these mayors are held accountable. Like, I understand from a PR perspective, from a midterm perspective, election perspective, you want these mayors on camera basically trying to defend their unpopular policy, okay, that is causing chaos and destruction within their cities. But I want accountability, right? I want to see some fireworks. I want to see some action, because these mayors have indicated that they're willing to go to jail for the illegals, right? So I say they should put their money where their mouth is, okay? And that is what Paulina Luna is calling for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida.
Mayor Wu, does the Boston Trust Act restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, yes or no?
We do not collect immigration status in law enforcement.
I'd just like to point out, and Mr. Chairman, if I could enter the Boston Trust Act into the record. Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. On page, or let's see, section 4AA, a law enforcement official and employment of the city department, agency, or commission shall not, and then A, inquire of an individual on his or her immigration status. Under Title 8, U.S. Code subsection 1373 stipulates that local governments cannot prohibit or restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, so your enforcement of this act is in direct violation of that statute. Can you please confirm?
That is not
Thank
the
you,
truth.
ma'am. That's a U.S. code. I don't know about you, but U.S. code does not lie.
We do not ask about
Mayor
immigration
Johnson, I'm not
status, and that is
talking to you
what
anymore.
makes us
Next
safe as a
question,
city.
Mayor Johnston, you said in your testimony that the first step you took after illegal aliens arrived was to provide them with housing. Is that correct, yes or no?
Folks that were on the streets freezing to death, we gave access to shelter. Yes, we did.
Thank you. Not to be rude here, but you have a good understanding of what the definition of harboring is, correct?
I do.
Okay. For those that might not, harboring means to knowingly or recklessly provide shelter or place to stay for an illegal alien. And according to Title 8 of U.S. Code subsection 1324, that is also a federal crime. Just to be clear, did you also say that you would be willing to go to jail to stop deportation efforts?
I did say that I'd be willing to stand up for all of our residents, and the context was that was the point at which the administration was threatening to deploy the U.S. military to streets of our cities to
Okay.
pull kids out of schools and churches,
Thank
so we
you.
were worried about that.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record an article from CBS.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. In this, it says, Johnson said earlier this week that he's willing to use civil disobedience and, if necessary, going to jail to stop deportations. My final question would be for you, Mr. Mayor Johnson. Do you believe that Chicago's welcoming city ordinance encourages illegal aliens to enter the United States, specifically into Chicago, yes or no?
No.
Okay. So you don't believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, sorry, one second, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324, and is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Boom. Boom. That's exactly what needs to happen, right? There needs to be criminal investigations into these woke mayors, and arrests need to be made, okay? I'm so serious right now. I'm so serious, okay? Nothing will warm my heart more than seeing Brandon Johnson in handcuffs, okay? I'm keeping it 100 with you. Now, I don't know if Pam Bondi is actually going to do it. I don't know if she has the cojones, the stones to actually move forward with some type of criminal investigation or prosecution of these woke mayors. But Democrats apparently are pissed, right? And they are defending these woke mayors and trying to make it seem like they're the victims, right? The woke mayors are the victims, the illegal immigrants are the victims, and the GOP, the Republicans, they're just bullies.
To take this opportunity to especially acknowledge Mayor Wu, because not only are you the first woman to ever serve the city of Boston, if you all haven't been watching, she is also the mother of a newborn who is here with her. She has a 7-week-old baby, and she showed up to testify and be yelled at by our colleagues for 4 hours. So I say to you, Mayor Wu, may your daughter grow up to be a fierce leader like you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to reject the fundamental premise of this hearing, because what this entire effort is about is intimidating state and local officials, attacking law-abiding immigrant families, and spending millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars, both in the administration and in Congress, to make ads that are complete smoke and mirrors, trying to say that Donald Trump has somehow secured America's safety. What they are doing is not making America safer. In fact, it's a total and complete lie, because Donald Trump has failed to actually even secure the border. Is that really what he's about? Is that really what my colleagues across the aisle are about? Because what I can tell you, as a representative from a great city, the city of Albuquerque, a border state, is that we know what makes our communities safer. It means we stop drugs from coming into our country and our communities. It means that we support and we fund our law enforcement. It means that we fund our behavioral health system. It means that we support our mayors, our tribal leaders, and our state officials. It means that we invest in them. It does not mean that we drag them in front of Congress for 4 hours. We yell at them. We tell them we're going to give them criminal referrals. The DOJ is intimidating our mayors, and my colleagues across the aisle are producing TV ads to try to pretend that they're making this country safe again. It's total bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They are not making America safer again, and what they are doing is terrorizing immigrant families. That is what they are doing. Parents who are afraid to send their kids to school, parents who are afraid that they won't come home again, kids who are afraid to leave their houses, refugees who have waited for years to come into this country. And our mayors are sitting here enduring this ridiculous hearing.
Wow, the Democrat Party, man. Imagine just getting your butt whooped in the election, mainly because of illegal immigration. And you're sitting up here in Congress as you have these woke mayors who are basically obstructing the federal government from doing their job, defending these woke mayors, pretending as if they're the victims, right? Pretending as if illegal immigrant criminals are the victims, pretending as if President Trump isn't actually securing the border or making this country safer. But despite the lies from the Democrats, the data doesn't lie. Border crosses plunged to lowest level in decades. New data. Okay, so border apprehensions are at the lowest level that we've seen in a long time. Okay. Well, why is that? It's because President Trump has secured the border. Okay. Not only has he secured the border, but he has also, on top of that, disincentivized illegal immigrants from trying to come into the country, period, for even trying to cross the border, because they already know what's going to happen, right? But yeah, you got this Democrat, right, sitting in Congress lying. Trump didn't secure the border, right? Again, these people just lie. They just lie. They don't even care. But hey, ultimately at the end of the day, if Democrats want to double and triple down on this, be my guest, right? Be my guest. If you want to stand behind these woke mayors, again, one of whom has an approval rating of like 6%, right? Woke mayor Brandon Johnson. And that's who you want to stand with, be my guest. Be my guest. Democrats are showing the American people once again that they stand against the agenda that they voted for, right? That they are extremists. Democrat Party, they're extremists when it comes to these issues, okay? And that they're not interested in solving the problems. They're not interested in doing what the American people voted them into office to do. They're just not. They're just not. So, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, this hearing basically just confirmed what everybody knew about these woke mayors, which is that, they are obstructing the federal government, and they're happy about that. They're totally fine with that. And that's something that they're hell-bent on continuing to do. Democrats in Congress support them in it, right? So the whole party supports illegal immigration. So when Democrats come out here and talk about how they want to secure the border, don't believe them, right? Because these people are the same people who agree with these woke mayors and their sanctuary city policies, and they love illegal immigrants coming to the country. And again, part of the reason why is because that's a money train for them, right? All of their little friends get rich, okay? Taking care of the illegals, using taxpayer dollars to shelter them, to feed them, to clothe them, to do all these things. In which, again, they eventually get kickbacks, right? That's essentially what's going on here, right? It's a big Ponzi scheme, and Democrats are a part of it, and they will sacrifice the lives of the American people. They will take food out of the mouth of an American citizen in order to take care of an illegal immigrant if it means that the Democrats get paid, right? That's exactly what's happening. That's the type of system they are supporting. And again, they're showing us, once again, that they are America last. Everybody first over the American people, according to the Democrats. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.